You know, the great thing is in 1971, I was 1 year old, so I don't have any memories of 71, what it looked like, what it felt like to go through that period of time. But when Tarek got those footages from you and then he put it into a documentary film and then it was released in Bangladesh, it was such a big thing because people like myself and younger people, they found something so that they can relate to 71. Wonderful visuals, colored, and human faces talking about their miseries, and people dying of starvation, and refugees leaving the country, and things like that. So the younger generation, I think, will always feel grateful to you because you gave us something through which we can relate to 71. When I was watching it, every time I watch Muktir Gan, it makes me cry. And that's the thing that you have done, and I thank you for that.
Well, thank you for your generosity. Catherine Massoud edited the film with Tarek, and she's a brilliant woman. And Tarek was so lucky to have her by her side. And she was really the person that convinced me to turn over my footage to Tarek. He was a bit of a rebel in 1971, but he was so handsome. I wished I could be that handsome. And Catherine was so loving and such a brilliant woman that I was sort of helpless at their fingertips. And I'm so glad they did such a brilliant job. You owe everything to them, really. They're the ones that unearthed it, and they're the ones that delivered that baby. And I'm glad it grew up to be so important. And I'm glad it entertains you and moves you. And it moves me to hear that it moves you. And it moves me deeply to know that the people of your country, feel strongly about me. And thank you so much.
You're most welcome. After the Liberation War, when did you visit Bangladesh again? After many years?
Yes. When the film was done...
Around mid-90s, I think 95?
Yeah, I think 1 or 2 years after that I was invited back, and I went over with my wife, and we had a brief meeting with Sheikh Hasina, and I toured the country, and we went down to Sundarban, and then subsequently I went back 2 more times. And at one time I actually showed a film that I had made, a short film. I don't know how well it went over. It was on American boxers. It was only 10 minutes long. I don't know if anybody fell asleep during it. But the country has always been very generous to me, more than I think need be. But I'm in their power. I'm in their power. Just participating in it, trying to capture what was happening, even though it was so devastating and so painful for them, always moves me when I think about it. And I'm just grateful for your own generosity.
After more than 4 decades, the current political turmoil that Bangladesh is going through, what are your thoughts on that?
It's hard for me to comment on that. I think the country's 40 years old. That's not very old. I mean, this country's pretty old, and we had our fist fights and battles and civil wars and hell, and if you were to go over to Congress today, you'd be a few inches from a bloodbath probably. It's always that way. It's very unfortunate. You just have to work as hard as you can for some form of comedy, bringing people together and trying to share a common purpose. I'm not a politician. My wife's very involved in politics, feminist politics and reproductive health and things like that. And she's better able to talk about life in government and what goes on. I mean, I just always hope for the best. I hope no matter what happens and how difficult the factionalism is right now, that eventually works itself out, and whether it's a single leader that comes along or a single purpose or some sort of meeting of the ways, that comes to pass. I mean, you don't have to go far around the world to, see countries that are having the same sort of problems. It's unfortunate. I wish it wasn't that way. I really do. What can I say?